Has this kind of work done before? I'm not trying to boast, but the conflict in Mindanao could not be resolved either. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think this kind of work was possible because of my abilities and power? No, it was God who made it possible. He showed peace to many people. And that's not all. When I was visiting those countries, people saw that a light was above me and took pictures of me. When doing this kind of work, we need God, and we should be people that the world needs. All members of the global community should become messengers of peace. Do you agree? Everyone should become a messenger of peace. All countries should acknowledge this and make an effort to create peace. Isn't that so? There is the one who created this earth. The Creator created this earth. But Christianity says that people who were created committed sin, and the Creator had to leave the earth as a result. But the time has come for God the Creator to come back. He promised to return to the earth, and it is recorded in the scriptures when and where He will come back. The scriptures even talk about what kind of signs will appear when it is time for God to return. When such signs appear, it would be time for God's return. Before God comes, the world is ruled by the evil one. But since God is the Creator, and He is the one who created the world, how much would He love His creation? He would love it greatly. So, the Creator and the creation will become one family and live together in this world. Then, the world will be such a happy and wonderful place. It will be a world of paradise. Yes, it will be. Faith comes from understanding. It comes from understanding. I'm sure that all families and all countries, regardless of who they are, would want to live well in comfort. No one would want to be in a war fighting. Isn't that the case? So we, HWPL, have worked on something, and that is legislating peace and cessation of war through international law. Under the current international law, the use of force is allowed in certain circumstances, so it alone is not enough to end wars. That is why we started this international law initiative. We appointed 21 members of the HWPL International Law Peace Committee. Now our ultimate goal is to have our declaration passed by the UN, but because of the pandemic situation, the process is halted at the moment. But once the United Nations reviews and approves it, this declaration on cessation of war will be adopted into international law. The document contains provisions saying that states should live on their own land and they should not invade other weaker states and cause them pain. These provisions are well written in the declaration. Whether they are well off or not, they should live in their own countries. Freedom is the greatest of all things. Freedom is the greatest thing. How great would it be to create such a free world and leave it as a lasting legacy for future generations? Instead of just talking about peace with our lips, we created something to bring peace. It calls for an end to weapons of mass destruction and an end to wars and conflicts as well. It calls for establishing peace monuments, which is taking place even at this moment. Isn't it great? Also, for the sake of peace, I have asked many people for their cooperation and worked in a way that they could acknowledge. But time keeps passing by. Then as time passes, shouldn't the work improve more and more? It should improve. This peace movement should teach about peace in homes and schools, even elementary schools. We need to keep this in mind. We, HWPL, are providing schools with teaching materials on peace. When they learn and accept all of this content into their hearts, who will love their country, their people? The people will love their country. The country will love their people. Wouldn't they? This is our hope and desire. Dear family of peace, let's not forget this, and I hope we always communicate and keep in touch with each other. It would be very nice to ask each other questions on the phone and exchange letters and correspondence. We should do so. Do you know about the first article of the Constitution of the Republic of Korea? The first article has two parts. It states that the Republic of Korea shall be a democratic republic, and all state authority shall emanate from the people. So I believe it is not right for government workers paid by the people to trample on the people, oppress them, or make them anxious. True politics is about allowing the people to live a safe and comfortable life, isn't it? Also, Jesus, the Son of God, taught to love our neighbors as ourselves. Then, we should love one another, being the same people. And we should also create a developed country and pass it to our future generations so that they can live well. It is what we should accomplish. Let's not forget this. So, the whole world should transform into a place of love without any war, dispute, or conflict, according to the will of the Creator. Family of peace, let's all take part in this work. We should not just sit on our hands. Let's exchange letters and cooperate in order to create such a beautiful world. Look at the flowers out there. These beautiful flowers blossom, and we hear birds sing as well. How wonderful is it? Without this kind of earth, we will all die in pain. Because we were given such a good place to live in, we should make it more beautiful. Family of peace, I would truly appreciate if you will shine light to the world as beautiful members of peace. Let us become the true light that shines on the whole world. This is my true hope and desire. Thank you. Now, I would like to close this message by shouting the phrase that we always say at the end. May great blessings be with all of your families and countries, and all families and countries should become one. Isn't that so? Then the whole world will be united in peace. I will close with the phrase, we are one. Thank you very much.
What an excellent speech. As Chairman Lee well said, we need God. We should be the kinds of people the world needs, and we should all become messengers of peace. Truer words cannot be said. Let's be the people that the world needs and speak out with boldness for peace. As what we're seeing happen in the Ukraine unfolds, what this shows is that there is still a need for the effort of peace to increase. Everyone is gathering and banding around the Ukraine, but this effort should only increase, and we need to be those messengers of peace who can speak out with that boldness and help this work of peace increase and gather momentum as the world's eyes are on war and peace in our day. Before we hear from several pioneers in educating and working to create peace, please join me to show that we truly are one and take a photo all together. With a bright smile, let's hold our right index finger high and make sure not to block our face, and our photo team will quickly gather this photo together. But let's show that we're messengers of peace and one in the work all together. Hold it with me just for a few more moments. Continue being bright. And I'm told that we have it. Thank you all so much. We are excited to join all of you in hearing the innovative efforts, thoughts, and methods that leaders have been utilizing to pave the pathway to peace. Let's give them our undivided attention and learn what's being done and how we can collaborate to make headway on this path as one. First, we'll hear from the Honorable Octavia Alfred, Minister of Education and Human Resource Development in Dominica. She has been a primary school teacher for 23 years and a principal in both primary and secondary education for over 11 years. She was appointed the Minister of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training, and National Excellence in 2019 and was involved in the creation of a national civics curriculum. Please give her your undivided attention and welcome her at this time.
Chairman Lee, and other honorable excellencies and distinguished guests and distinguished members of the family of peace. Good morning. HWPL peace curriculum is helpful in addressing the need for students to coexist, cooperate, and learn teamwork. During the COVID-19 lockdown, our students were very stressed. We had to spend time addressing the psychosocial needs of our students, even while they were at home working online. Students were at home and they had to deal with their own emotions. Students were taught and they were encouraged to develop skills on how to deal with internal conflict, loneliness, boredom, and being constrained. In other words, we had to teach our students to be at peace with themselves, even in the midst of a world in a state of unrest. Now we're having a challenge, even now this week. Our students are now seeing war on the news and they're questioning us, and we must answer their questions. Why war? Where is peace? What can we do to help? Is this ever going to happen in Dominica? And we need to reassure our students on our island that we are fighting, that something like that will never happen to them. HWPL helps us teach conflict resolution, skills, respect for others' property and their opinions, and accepting each other and respecting diversity. Students are becoming more academically intelligent, and this is what parents want. They want high grades, but we are also seeing that students are becoming less and less psychosocial competent. Our world requires people who are intelligent, yes, but we also need people with excellent interpersonal relationship skills, conflict resolutions, problem solving, and even negotiating. Because what we will have some intelligent, warlike, bad mind people. HWPL is incredibly relevant, and it is equipping our teachers to address the key factors because our world needs peace. We use the components of the program at all levels, including pre-K, because we believe that if we address these problems as low as pre-K, then it will cost us less. If people understand their worth and the worth of others, and the importance of living harmoniously side by side, if we teach our students to be their best and to bring out the best in others, it will cost us less. In order to create a culture of peace, our teachers have also become peace messengers in their classrooms. We must remember that our teachers are not only teachers, but this curriculum helps our teachers to become learners as they're being trained. Because many of these teachers didn't have a chance to do some of these subjects in school. And many of these educators, they come to the classroom with their own personal issues and internal conflict. And this program has also been of benefit to our teachers. It has helped them to manage some of their childhood difficulties, even that some of the things that they carry into adulthood. And it has also helped them to overcome these problems. We want our teachers to be able to embrace a culture of peace as they address and shape the hearts and emotional needs of our students, and as they also build their cognitive or academic capacity. The HWPL Peace Education is integrated in the National Civics Curriculum and the Health and Family Life Curriculum. This helps us to ensure that we are grooming citizens that will positively and peacefully advance our families first and society and in the entire country. Because it's not just about school, but it's something that people can learn and it will last them a lifetime. It is something for better citizens, better people. Because people who feel whole, they will do so when they understand their worth. And when they understand their worth, they begin to understand the worth of others. Because there's something that says that people who are whole try to make other people whole. People who are happy try to make other people happy. People who are criticized, they criticize others. People who are beaten on, they beat others. So if we get rid of all these concepts from pre-K, we believe that this will save us a lot of money generations to come. And it's really not about the money we will save. It is more about the pain and suffering that we will save our people. So as we move forward, with our partnership with HWPL to spread the culture of peace among our schools and communities, we continue with teacher training. And in April, we will move again into a more aggressive teacher training program because now some of our students are back in school face to face. But we are also looking at starting peace clubs at our schools, and we are looking at moving the program outside of schools to churches and to community groups so they can have peace aspects on their meetings, in their learning, in their programs. And we're also looking at special peace clubs in different communities. I take this opportunity to thank everybody who has been on board. We look forward one of those good days to seeing our chairman visit Dominica. She has worked well with us. Miss Reagan has worked very well with us, and we are happy. And as he mentioned in his address at the beginning, it takes effort to create a peaceful world. And we are hoping that the chairman will be able to visit our country one day because I offer you a place of tranquility. If you just need to unwind, Dominica is the place to come. And this is why we are so concerned about pushing the peace education, because this is how we would want our island to remain. So HWPL is a wonderful program. We're excited about it. We know that it is taking roots in our country. We are happy that one of those days we'll see our fruits, and we will not keep our fruits to ourselves. We are eager to share it with other people because we believe that peace should not only be given a chance, but peace by the grace of God should reign supreme indeed. God bless you. Jesus loves you, and I love you too. Let peace reign.
Thank you so much, Minister Alfred. Your work with the youth and helping them understand their place and their role in creating peace and working hand in hand with HWPL is very appreciated and very needed. Thank you so much. Next, we'll hear from Mr. Maximo Anico Guzman, the Vice President of the Dominican Organization of the Study and Promotion of International Relations, or ODEPRI. ODEPRI offers domestic and international institutions, both public and private, legal advisory services focused on the design, analysis, and development of quality international policies, training in international democratic processes and good governance, and the development of democracy and human rights education programs. For 11 years, he worked with the Mayor's Office of Santiago in the capacity as legal consultant and secretary of the Municipal Council, and 10 more years in the exercise as a notary lawyer and now master in international relations. As a reminder, please make sure that you have selected the appropriate translation channel at this time. Let's all welcome Mr. Guzman. Mr. Guzman, if you can unmute for us. Brief technical difficulties.
Ahí. Pues buenos días, distinguidos señores. Man Healy, fundador y presidente de HWPL. Octavia Alfred, ministra de Educación y Desarrollo de Recursos Humanos de Dominica. Ruth Lawrence, Desarrollo de Programas, especialista de la División de Políticas de Jóvenes y Adolescentes de Jamaica. Garfield Burford, de Servicio de Radiodifusión de Antigua y Barbuda, ABS. Dr. Vikram Paul, fundador del Templo Hindú de Metropolitan Washington. Para nosotros realmente es un gran honor, un grato honor haber sido invitado a esta sexta conmemoración anual de la Declaración de Paz y Cese de Guerra, institucionalizando la paz, construyendo cada día una base legal para la paz sostenible. Real y efectivamente consideramos que es una profunda satisfacción estas grandes iniciativas que se tienen con relación a la paz y a la unidad de los Estados y el mundo. Todos realmente somos amantes de la paz. Y decimos esto porque real y efectivamente existe la necesidad imperiosa en los estados y naciones del mundo de que el momento, el tiempo es preciso para poner en aplicación las metodologías necesarias para inducir al mundo a ese gran compromiso de paz. Tan necesaria para la humanidad, tan necesaria para los grandes acontecimientos sociales que hoy nos permiten día a día desarrollar nuestras naciones, desarrollar nuestros ciudadanos. Y es por todo ello que nos hemos motivado desde la ciudad de Santiago de los Caballeros, el primer Santiago de América, República Dominicana, de poder participar junto a ustedes, junto a otras naciones hermanas, para conducirnos con este gran mecanismo que Dios nos ha permitido, como lo es la unidad y la paz en el mundo. Real y efectivamente hemos visto cómo esos ejemplos del propio presidente de los Estados Unidos de América, la misma vicepresidenta de los Estados Unidos, se han manifestado en múltiples ocasiones con relación a ese interés y a la necesidad propia de asociarnos todos los países y naciones a esas grandes iniciativas de alianza para un mejor desarrollo de la humanidad. De manera que son grandes ejemplos que nos están permitiendo hoy en día poner de manifiesto esas actitudes positivas. No hay razón alguna en el mundo del por qué la existencia de las guerras. No hay esa necesidad imperiosa de provocar un estado de ánimo innecesario ante la humanidad, como lo ha sido lamentablemente ese enfrentamiento entre el hermano pueblo de Ucrania y la misma Rusia. Somos de consideración desde la República Dominicana de que urge necesariamente ese acercamiento hacia todos los estados del mundo y donde todos los organismos internacionales deben programar esas iniciativas para que las motivaciones surjan en cada representante de cada nación. Somos, como República Dominicana, copartícipes de que las buenas causas sean las que conduzcan a nuestras naciones. Las naciones de hoy, mañana y siempre deben velar precisamente por principios acordes a la humanidad. Pero esos principios acordes deben estar siempre sustentados en la paz y en la unidad. La paz y la unidad que nunca debe cesar, sino permanecer siempre junto a nosotros en el transitar de nuestras vidas. Es por medio de la paz que podemos lograr nuestras mejores manifestaciones con la humanidad. Es por medio de la paz que podemos necesariamente conquistar nuestros proyectos, nuestro desarrollo en el medio en que nos desenvolvemos. Es por medio de la paz que logramos definitivamente encauzar nuestras acciones y nuestros proyectos. Es por todo ello que la República Dominicana para este tiempo estamos adhiriéndonos a esas cartas que se han instrumentado con este motivo. Y continuaremos junto a nuestro maestro, doctor Romero Santos, desde la República Dominicana. Continuaremos durante los demás, a través también de los demás directivos de ODEPRI, de aquí de la República Dominicana, y a través de ustedes mismos, a través de María Alexandra Hitler y de todos los demás organismos internacionales que están empujando y motivando a su vez a que este gran proyecto, este proyecto de vida, realmente es un proyecto de vida, sea aplicable ante todos los estados y naciones del mundo. Hoy por hoy se hace necesario y se impone a su vez de un mayor acercamiento, de una mayor hermandad entre las naciones, de un cambio de actitudes recíprocas entre los países y naciones que bordean y rodean todo el mundo. Por todo ello, nosotros, como República Dominicana, nos hemos sumado a estas labores, a estas tareas, a estas grandes iniciativas que son las que nos permitirán definitivamente un mejor desarrollo en los estados y naciones del mundo. Definitivamente, hablar de la paz, pronunciarnos en relación a la unidad, de los ciudadanos del mundo, de los estados y naciones, constituye un gran elemento fundamental para la propia existencia de la vida humana. La vida vale la pena vivirla, pero siempre y cuando la dignidad, la propia dignidad, pueda sustentarla. Pero para que esa dignidad pueda lograr los mejores propósitos, todos nosotros, junto a los organismos diferentes internacionales que participan, tales como son la propia Organización de los Estados Unidos, la OEA, la misma Organización de las Naciones Unidas, estas organizaciones encabezadas por el señor Manjili y otras organizaciones internacionales, debemos unirnos juntos, todos, y lograr definitivamente al unísono toda esa claridad de vida que amerita la propia existencia nuestra. Es aquí donde radica definitivamente el ordenamiento de la propia existencia nuestra como seres humanos. La humanidad atraviesa por grandes pruebas y necesidades, pero esas pruebas y necesidades serían y se constituirían, ¿por qué no?, en circunstanciales, donde nosotros somos los más llamados a deponer de las actitudes negativas para poder construir un mundo cambiante, un mundo mejor, donde nuestras necesidades, donde nuestros ideales sean cubiertos ante una realidad y ante nuestras familias. Realmente, hablar de paz, hablar de unidad, es como expresar libremente nuestras interioridades. Aquellas interioridades que rodean al mundo, aquellas interioridades que nacieron producto de la existencia del mundo. Y cuando Dios ha permitido que nosotros podamos existir y hacer las cosas como Él manda. Definitivamente debemos todos en conjunto, todos los estados y naciones, abocarnos a ese gran llamamiento. Es tiempo de unidad, es tiempo de paz, es tiempo de cambiar nuestras actitudes para poder lograr encaminar por el tránsito de la vida y poder conducir mejor a nuestras familias. Los estados, naciones y sociedades de hoy no se desarrollan con las guerras. Todo por el contrario. Para la existencia misma de esos estados y naciones es con carácter obligatorio de la suma y de la existencia de las familias. Las familias son el sustento real de las sociedades del mundo. Sin ellas, lamentablemente, las sociedades, los estados, las naciones no componen esa grandeza y esa necesidad de poder construir un mundo mejor. En definitiva, distinguidos directivos y señores, queremos dejar en el ánimo de ustedes, desde aquí, la República Dominicana, de que estamos trabajando íntegramente ante los diferentes proyectos y conjuntamente con ustedes para poder contribuir a esa noble causa, a esa gran causa, como lo constituye la paz y la unidad de los estados y naciones del mundo. No queremos terminar nuestras palabras sin antes expresar aquellas palabras que nos manifestare Benito Juárez en su gran momento y que hoy han sido de principalía ante todas las naciones del mundo porque han sido puestas en práctica. Benito Juárez nos manifestó en aquel entonces el respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. Por eso invitamos a todos ustedes, juntamente con nosotros, los dominicanos, a que esa paz siempre impere en nuestra interioridad. Muchas gracias y que Dios les bendiga a todos.
Thank you so much, Mr. Guzman. Your words of encouragement to us and a reminder that our ideology has to change in order for peace to be laid as a foundation for the rest of our lives really spoke to our hearts. Thank you so much for that message. Next, we'd also like to hear from Ms. Ruth Lawrence, the Program Development Specialist of the Youth and Adolescents Policy Division from Jamaica. She has spent a decade giving her life to serving her country and fellow youth, and it's because of this that she was awarded the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Excellence in 2011 in the category of Youth in Service. She can be found serving on several boards and committees, some of which include the United Nations Population Fund Youth Advisory Group and the National Child Month Planning Committee, to name a few. She now serves as the Program Development Specialist of the Youth and Adolescents Policy Division in Jamaica's Ministry of Education, Youth, and Information. Please welcome Ms. Lawrence at this time. We'll have a brief message.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing amazing this morning. It is indeed my pleasure to be sharing on behalf of my beautiful island, Jamaica. Today, let me begin by first thanking you for having Jamaica to celebrate the HWPL's 6th annual commemoration of the Declaration of Peace and the Cessation of War. Definitely, I know the work that you have been doing has been absolutely tremendous. We've seen it, we've felt it here all the way in Jamaica. And so on behalf of my Minister of Education and Youth, the Honorable Favor Williams, I do want to express my greatest gratitude and thanks for the efforts thus far. I also want to, of course, highlight the work being done by the International Peace Youth Group, and that cannot be denied at all. And so thank you so much for having us this morning. I prepared a brief presentation that I will be sharing. Let me know. Just give me a thumbs up if you are able to see the presentation, and then I'll be more than happy to. Awesome, awesome. I see the thumbs. Thank you so much for that. So, real quick, I want to give you a quick overview in terms of the work that we are doing here in Jamaica. And I'm pretty excited about what we are doing as a nation. And so firstly, let me just announce that the our island, we would have endorsed the global partnership to end violence against students. And actually a part of this, the Prime Minister of Jamaica would have instituted what we would call the Inspire initiative. And of course, this would have been this implementation rather would speak to the norms, the values of change, the safe environment really that we wanted to foster within our country, within our communities. And we were named, of course, one of the Pathfinder countries in tandem with Mexico, El Salvador, Paraguay, Sweden, Tanzania, and Indonesia, among other countries, of course. No, the Ministry of Education and Youth, we are definitely guided by the fact that peace is very important and essential to what we do. And because of this, we have instituted many programs and policies to guide that in our country. And so one such policy would be our school security and safety policy. And this, of course, really seeks to foster and to engender the culture of security amongst our students. And this was actually established in 2008. And this policy really is a guiding one that seeks to ensure that all schools across the island not only promote, but ensure that they create programs and initiatives to creating a peaceful environment within our schools. In addition to that, we would have had as well, we call it the SWP biz. That's a nice play on the word. And that really stands for the school-wide positive behavior intervention program. Now, this program was actually created to sort of be a reward system really for good behavior. So whilst we understand that oftentimes persons tend to want to look into ways of, exploring deviant behaviors. We don't want that. So we have developed this system to actually reward positive behavior. And of course, this program has worked pretty well within our high schools, within our primary schools, and the ministry is seeking to expand its reach across the island in the coming months. Next up, we have the Peace and Love in Schools. Now, I know for those of you who might be familiar with our country, peace and love is something that is it tends to roll off the tongues of our people. And so really the PALS program, as we call it, was launched in 1994. And again, this program really is a program that is geared towards the promotion rather, of non-violent behaviors within our schools. And of course, the program rather is guided by the 5 Ps, as they would call it, which is the physical safety, psychological safety, policy, programs, and partnerships, because we do believe that we cannot. Peace is something, can I just say, we can't do it alone. And therefore, the multi-sectoral collaboration is definitely needed. And we need to ensure that we have our youth, particularly, and students being a part of this process. And so additionally, to the SWPBs, we would have in 2019, for the first time, we had our children taking over our parliament, and really just reinforcing and reiterating the importance of having students being protected, right? And so this was really a hallmark moment for us in Jamaica, where we had our students speaking to parliamentarians, about the challenges that they face, but equally positing and promoting solutions to these challenges. And so Jamaica is definitely on the road to the promotion of safety and security. Now, again, over the years, Jamaica has had what we call, we've celebrated International Peace Day, but guess what? We took it a step further, whereas we dubbed the month of March being Peace Month. And because of this thrust, we have ensured that schools all across the island must have on that particular day and throughout the month peace related activities, so that again our youth, our students can be key participants, not only participants, but persons, of course, who will seek to foster and to engender the principles of peace. And of course, this is a multi-sectoral collaboration between the Ministry of Education and Youth, the Ministries of Justice, and the Violence Prevention Alliance. And of course, a part of our curriculum as well, which is the Family Life Health, the health and family life education curriculum, we do ensure that peace is a critical unit within that curriculum. Now, as it relates to youth now, so I would have probably given you just now the educational perspective. Now, I want to shift a little bit to the youth perspective. And we know for Jamaica, the age that we observe for youth is 15 to 29. Now, the Youth and Adolescents Policy Division has been tasked with supporting initiatives that have been tasked with supporting initiatives to promote safety. Now, one such initiative that we have established over the past years is that we would have launched our youth innovation centers. Now, these are dubbed safe spaces, and this is really a direct link to sort of creating a safe space, as we would call it, for young people. Now, can I just say that I am a product of the Youth Innovation Center in Jamaica? I would have grown up, I would have been raised rather in a very volatile community, but just because of the intervention in terms of going to the Youth Innovation Center, being exposed to opportunities, finding out how to do my research for school, being linked to job opportunities, this would have been, I would say, the push factor that would have allowed me to be where I am today. And indeed, as I said before, I must herald and I must toot the work of the Youth Innovation Centers. Now, there are also the youth club movement within our communities. Now, these clubs primarily are led by youth leaders. And the important thing is that youth, we believe at the Ministry of Education and Youth, that youth are indeed the trailblazers in development. And just quick before I close,
Sorry, Miss Lawrence. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Due to time constraints, we're super appreciative of this work, but we do have to move on. Again, apologies. Sure. We're running out of time with the remaining speakers. I apologize.
No problem.
No, thank you so much for this work. We're super grateful for what's being done and the impact that's being had on the youth in Jamaica specifically, but also the example that you're showing for the rest of the world, and how even having the same heart of creating a peace day where children and individuals can celebrate the work of peace is so necessary to imbue that into the culture and produce workers of peace just like yourself. Thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
We also do want to recognize the Honorable Minister of Education, Youth Affairs, and Sports, Mr. Charles T. Kernan from Montserrat, and want to thank him for advancing a culture of peace among students and the efforts that he's taking to ensure the development of the peaceful character of students through his national curriculum. And HWPL is very excited to continue supporting your efforts further. Thank you as well. Next, we'll hear from Mr. Garfield Burford with the Antigua and Barbuda Broadcasting Services, or ABS. Mr. Burford is the Director of News, Sports, and Current Affairs at ABS Television and Radio, Antigua and Barbuda's public broadcaster. Mr. Burford is a renowned and accomplished regional journalist in his own right, with over 2 decades of experience across all broadcast media platforms. His life is fully dedicated to broadcast news, and his investigative journalism and key development issue pieces have won critical acclaim, including national awards in his native Jamaica and the Caribbean Broadcasting Union. Please welcome Mr. Burford at this time.
Please allow me to adopt the already established, except to add my greetings to all the distinguished speakers in this august global event. It is my seminal honor to represent my fellow Caribbean media professionals at this annual Declaration of Peace and the Cessation of War event. I commend the work of HWPL because it is only in a climate of peace and harmony that human civilization accelerates progress for all. But peace continues to face peril. We live in a world beset by several crises and threats, not least the ongoing war in Eastern Europe, which has killed and injured thousands and displaced millions. Throughout my close to 2.5 decades in journalism, I'm often regrettably reminded of lines from W.B. Yeats's poem, The Second Coming. Quote, "Things fall apart, the center cannot hold, mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity." End quote. And there is a clear intersection, a clear nexus between the work of HWPL and that of journalists in creating a better world. My colleagues around the Caribbean and the world know the weight of responsibility on our shoulders, that a free press is the oxygen of democracy. And yes, we remind ourselves of the profound power of the extraction from Mr. Dooley's words of over a century ago, that journalists comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Distinguished participants, colleagues, ethical journalism could not be more important to peace and positive societal change than it is right now. That's because the threats to peace are not only bombs, bullets, and bravado, but there is misinformation and disinformation. In a world of fake news, half-truths, and downright lies, ethical journalism must continue to shine a piercing light of truth through this abyss. Not only must we be purveyors of truth, but we have to be its protectors as well, forming a bulwark against those with more than a passing acquaintance with untruth. Our stories about the Caribbean as a zone of peace and the threats to that peace in an uncertain world help our audiences to understand what is at stake. Our detailed explanations about the geopolitical tensions help our audiences to understand and interrogate issues in a world in flux. And crucially, our stories of people making a difference by being peacemakers in their communities show the best of human interest journalism. Colleagues, ethical journalism is critical to our world. I urge you all to redouble your efforts on these front lines of truth and fairness. This is journalism for a better world by bringing out the best in all of us. Thanks again to my fellow VIP speakers and HWPL for this powerful event. The power of peace drives us all. Best wishes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Burford. What you said about shining the light of truth and having it cut through the darkness really rings true. And Chairman Lee has also stated that ethical journalism is key to promoting peace and helping that light of truth shine brightly. Thank you so much. Next, we will have a speaker from the perspective of faith, Dr. Bikram Paul, the founder of the Hindu Temple of Metropolitan Washington. Dr. Paul is a surgeon in Washington, District of Columbia, and is affiliated with the MedStar Washington Hospital Center. Due to his humanitarian efforts, he has been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize and collaborated to establish the organization Doctors Without Borders. He is currently an active member of the White House Committee of Religious Leaders and both founder and chairman of the Hindu Temple of Metropolitan Washington. Please welcome Dr. Paul.
Namaskar. I'm Dr. Bikram Paul, Chairman of the Hindu Temple of Metropolitan Washington. And I'm talking to you today because the whole world is in trouble today. There has been disturbance and the world peace has been upset. One country has already attacked the other country with a lot of destruction, a lot of human life loss, and this should not happen. We always wanted peace on earth. Man Lee, the chairman of HWPL, has worked hard with 150 countries of the world, heads of the states, to try to see that peace and no war, that is the slogan we have been using, but now we have to go into action. We have to work hard for peace, and we have to work all together because the United Nations has been totally defunct at this time. Nobody is caring. And we have to work as peace leaders to go and help to establish peace. Let's all unite together irrespective of our religious background, or ethnicity, or any kind of nationality. We'll all work, and we should try to go and help the leaders and the people who have been affected. And let's pray for those who have lost their lives and those who are in trouble now with a lot of injuries. God bless them, God help them, and God help our peace movement. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul. And as he said, HWPL and Chairman Lee is working with countries all over the world because it's essential that religious leaders, as well as leaders in government, faith, and education, all continue to unite as one so that we can create a world without conflict and without war. What's very clear to us from all of these messages is that peace must be both active and intentional. Peace is not an accident. Peace will not happen unless it is at the forefront of our agendas, our priorities, and our own earnest desire to see it realized in the world. Everything that we do as messengers of peace matters monumentally for tomorrow. Let us meet often, put in effort to progress this work, and find the innovative means with which conflicts can be resolved. The seed of peace begins with us, our hearts, and our mindsets. But it must be watered and grown every day with the actions and policies and words that we say and put into place. Let's make a determination together to have it take a deep root in ourselves. Instead of just talking with our lips, let's bring peace with our actions. If not us, then who? We are one. Please have a great weekend, and we will see peace become a reality together. Thank you, everyone.